All right. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday evening. We have some folks who are still connecting and logging in. Welcome to our Monday meditation, Finding Peace. And so, just a reminder, I'm already recording, so I have set this meeting with cameras off just to protect, the safe space, and because I'll be sharing this with all the folks who signed up to just make sure everybody's space is protected from the camera. But again, really just to mainly protect this safe space. So when I record and pin my screen in the recording, you only see me. I also have everybody on mute just to eliminate any background noise, any distractions for our practice tonight. And so I'm going to give it just another minute or two to let folks have a chance to log in and to get connected to audio and all of that good stuff. So in this meantime, if you want to take a moment to find your comfortable seat, maybe you want to sit on a pillow or folded up blanket. Maybe you want to lie on your back and bend the knee, supporting your head with the pillow. Maybe you want to grab your cup of tea, like I have. Maybe you want to take a moment to light a candle, to set an intention, to light some incense. So just taking this minute before we move into the practice. And I'm also in the meantime just going to go ahead and pop in my website in the chat box, as well as my Instagram handle, in case I forget to do my shameless plug, my shameless, not so shameless plug at the end of our time together. So for those who are newly connected with me by way of this practice tonight, this is how you can stay connected with me. So we'll give it one more minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome to anybody who is new here tonight. There are a few new names on here, so thank you so much for joining. Welcome. And to those who have returned, I thank you and welcome back. And just an FYI, I like to stream some very soft music in the background. I know for me, when I practice meditation, there are moments where it's good to have just like that complete silence. Um, our minds, we're always producing, so we're always thinking of what to do. We're thinking about the past, we're thinking about the future, we're thinking, right? So our minds are either always producing or we're always consuming, right? So we're consuming by scrolling on our phones, looking at social media, binge watching Real Housewives of Potomac, just taking in stuff, whether it's useful information, not so useful information. We are constantly either producing or consuming. And so sometimes it is nice to take a practice where there's complete silence. And even the softest of music can be the mind sort of processing and consuming. But I also know for me, it helps to have some soft music in the background to be able to just have a place to kind of anchor myself into, to anchor my mind into. So it's very easy when we get into these practices of stillness for our minds to wander, to distract. I know for me, it's the moment when I start thinking of my grocery list, what I have to get from the grocery store. And so when I hear that soft music, it's a reminder to come back, to center, to come back to present. So if you find this music distracting, or if it's too loud or almost too soft where it's distracting, not really a place where you can anchor yourself, please let me know in the chat box. And so even though we are all on mute, the chat box is a space where we can share space as far as communication. So if the music is a little too low, a little too high, please let me know and I will try and adjust. So we just have one or two more folks joining in, and then we'll go ahead and officially get started. So just taking these next few moments again to find your comfortable seat. I am sitting on a meditation cushion, which is really nice. So even if sitting on the ground feels good, when you're sitting on the ground for an extended period of time, so like tonight, we'll be sitting for, 25, 30 minutes. Sometimes sitting on the ground can kind of jam up your lower back, where like the sacroiliac joints and all that stuff in the lower back can jam up. And so when you sit on a pillow, folded up blanket, some sort of cushioning that can soften that, when you're sitting on your back and just give that lower back some space. So you might want to grab that. Or again, if you're choosing to lie on your back, if that feels good. bending the knees, maybe opening up the arms, placing a pillow under the head, or if you want to lie with your legs straight out, maybe placing some support under the knees. And with that, let's go ahead and officially open up our space. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome to anybody who is new to me and to this meditation practice. My name is Rachel, and I have been teaching yoga and meditation since 2013. It really is work that I'm very passionate about. I love to help people just feel good. I love to help people find healing, find empowerment. This work I do really is just the culmination of work I have done on myself, my own journey of finding my free. And when yoga and meditation came into my life as a personal practice, when I got to that space, in my 30s of like, what really is my purpose? I was able to connect the feeling that I got from yoga and meditation and realize like, wow, I could share that with other people. And I truly consider this like my soul's work, my purpose work in this world. And so I hold these meditation spaces on Mondays, my free offering. In yoga, we call it our seva, which is like our karma work, our community work, our giving back work. And so I hold these meditations on Mondays, and then throughout the week, I hold yoga classes, and we do everything from restorative yoga to active yoga and everything in between. I also host a podcast. I haven't actually released an episode in like over a year, but I'm going to get back to that. I had a lot of life happening in the past couple of years. So I like to call myself a medicine woman of the soul. And so, yeah, that's me. And to learn more about me and just my offerings, I'm at rachelvossyoga.com. I left my website in the chat box. And so, enough about me. Let's go ahead and make this space for you. So, thank you for making this time for yourself. And again, welcome to anybody who is new, and welcome back to those who have come back and returned to share space with me again. So the flow of our meditation, it is a guided meditation in the sense that I will kind of walk you through softening the body, coming into this space of presence, just helping you just manage distractions that may come about as we're going through the practice. And then I like to leave some space for silence, about a minute or two for some silence, just to really allow the practice to integrate. And then I love to close with a passage. From a book. And so tonight's passage will be from Pixie Lighthorse's Prayers of Honoring Grief. So in our last meditation we did 2 weeks ago, the book was Prayers of Honoring Voice. Pixie Lighthorse has a beautiful series, this Prayers of Honoring series. And this book is really, really, really awesome tool, especially if you're navigating a grief journey, and not just the loss of a person, maybe the loss of a dream, the loss of just something, that meant something to you. And so navigating that journey can be a little bit tough. And these passages are super supportive and just kind of like a soft place to land, when we're navigating the tough stuff. So this is where I'll be reading the passage from tonight. And then we'll close out and go back to our lives, hopefully feeling a little more peaceful, easeful, useful, and joyful. That's the last word on the shirt. So good. Finding your comfortable seat. If you're sitting, finding a tall spine. So lengthening up through the crown of the head, trying to just eliminate any rounding in the back and instead find a nice tall spine, soft shoulders. You can sit with the legs crossed if that feels good for you, or sit on your knees, or with your legs straight in front, whatever feels supportive for you. Resting your hands on your thighs, the palms facing down to create a sense of grounding. And if there's an energy or an intention that you're looking to receive from this practice tonight, you'll flip the palms up to be in a space of receiving. So maybe you really want to speak finding peace, into yourself, into your practice. And so you'll flip the palms up to receive that energy. And if you're lying on your back, again, bending the knees, or if you have the legs straight, placing some support under the knees, maybe a pillow under the head, the arms out to the side, or maybe hands resting on the belly if that feels good. And then closing the eyes if that feels like a comfortable space for you. And if closing the eyes is not comfortable, maybe find a soft gaze, gently focusing your gaze somewhere in the room or on the floor. You might also just close the eyes halfway. And if you choose to close the eyes, let the lids be softly closed. So trying not to squeeze the eyes shut. And then together, let's take a beautiful deep breath in. And I'm going to invite you to draw the shoulders up to the ears as you inhale. And as you exhale, release the shoulders, release the air out through the mouth. Nice exhale. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, shoulders up. Maybe hold this for an extra sip of air. Inhale. And then exhale. Release the shoulders. If you're sitting, you might notice how the shoulder blades draw into each other, really helping support the back, the spine. And just notice that the shoulders are soft. Taking a moment to notice the muscles of the face. So if there's any tightening in the jawline, maybe you're clenching your teeth or gritting your teeth. Maybe open and close the mouth a few times to relax the jaw, or leave a little space between the teeth to help keep the jawline nice and soft. Noticing that the fingers are relaxed, the toes. Just taking a moment to just adjust whatever you need to adjust so that you can sit comfortably for this space and for this time. I always like to say adjust and readjust until it feels just right. Taking a nice deep breath in, draw the breath deep from the belly, up through the lungs, into the chest. And then exhaling out through the mouth, release the air from the chest, the lungs, the belly. Finding that again, deep breath in, inhale. Belly, lungs, chest, and exhale. And you can continue breathing in that fashion, breathing in nice and deep from the belly, filling the torso with air, and then exhaling out through your mouth. Unless it's in your practice to apply the more yogic style of breathing where we exhale through the nose and keep the lips closed. So whatever feels good for you. See if you can begin to connect with the rhythm of the breath. Just noticing the inhales and the exhales. The rise and fall of the belly and the chest as you breathe in. And how everything gently falls and releases as you breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. And as you continue breathing gently in this fashion, I invite you to take a gentle scan of your body. So maybe noticing your body from head to toe or toe to head. Just allowing yourself to notice where you might feel some tension still residing, some tightness. Maybe you still have the shoulders lifted a little bit. Maybe the knees are sitting a little high. Maybe there's some gripping in your fingers. Just noticing any areas that might need a little extra softness, a little extra awareness. And if you notice this, just pause. Take a breath in. And with awareness of the space that you want to bring that softening to, just exhale as though you were breathing into that space to release that tension, to release the tightness. So the practice of yoga, the physical practice of yoga, when we move our bodies on the yoga mat, it's an invitation to take that time to feel at home within ourselves, right? And so meditation is that same invitation to just be the witness, to just notice what's moving through you, what's occurring in you. But it's being the witness without judgment, right? So that same sense of just being comfortable with yourself in this moment, not judging, not changing, not belittling, not berating, but just noticing. And on a bigger scale, meditation teaches us how to be comfortable when life doesn't feel so comfortable, right? So if we're working through some challenges, again, if we're working through a dream that we've had to put down, or if we're working on building a new dream, right? When life gets a little sticky, how do we find that space within ourselves where we can still find comfort, even in the midst of discomfort? How can we find that place of stillness, of peace within ourselves? How can we coexist with what's happening around us? And so this very simple practice of just being the witness, of just watching yourself, is a way to learn how to coexist, how to navigate life when it gets challenging, when it gets tough. It's noticing the anxiety, it's noticing the fear, it's noticing the worry, but it's not beating yourself up about it. It's just saying, I see you, you're there. And then breathing through it, using your inhales and your exhales to come back to center, to come back to that place of feeling anchored within yourself. Knowing in this moment, in this space, all is well. We can apply that same practice to our minds. So maybe noticing the movement of the mind. Maybe there's a lot of thoughts running through your mind at the moment. Maybe the mind is wrapped around a particular thought. Just allow yourself to notice. And then see if you can anchor the mind to the breath in that same fashion, noticing your inhales and your exhales. So that when the mind becomes distracted, or when thoughts start to enter your mind that don't serve you, you just notice them. You take a breath in, and with the exhale, you invite yourself to come right back to presence. Keeping the shoulders soft, the spine long, the heart pressing forward, the jawline relaxed. I love to offer the practice of maybe connecting with your breath in, something that you want to take into yourself. So if it's peace, if it's ease, if it's abundance, if it's joy, you breathe that in. Exhaling out anything that isn't serving you, exhaling fear, exhaling worry. Or if it speaks to you, you might breathe in the joy and exhale the joy, releasing that intention into the world. Continue to notice the breath, the rise and fall of the belly, the rise and fall of the chest. Remembering that your thoughts are just like the clouds in the sky, or like the waves in the ocean, right? So with the clouds, they come and go. With the waves, they rise and fall. But our mind is the sky, always steady. Our mind is the water, always still, always flowing. The thoughts are just the movements of the water. The thoughts are just the movements of the clouds. So just allow yourself to notice what's moving through the mind. Try not to fight it. Try not to change it. Just notice it. And again, coming back to presence using your breath. Maybe your breath is getting a little deeper. And really filling the belly, filling the chest. Maybe the exhales are a little longer, a little fuller, really allowing yourself to complete every exhale before you move into the next inhale. The exhale creates space for us to receive, with the next breath in. We'll take this next minute or two to just enjoy the silence. If it helps, you can anchor yourself into the music that's streaming in the background. Anchor yourself to your breath. Maybe there's a noise like a bird singing or the wind blowing, something that's happening in this present moment that you can connect your mind to. It just allows you to be right here, right now. Can you give yourself permission to just be with the stillness, to be with the softness? Maybe you're noticing what's moving through your heart space. Maybe you're noticing a feeling that's been sitting in your body that you really haven't given space or time to examine, to allow yourself to notice. So just notice what's coming up for you in this moment. And use your breath to come right back to presence. As you continue to sit in this stillness, I'm going to share the passage from Prayers of Honoring Grief. And tonight's passage is called Honoring Acceptance. Thank you for this day of sitting bravely with what has moved through me. Help me agree to cooperate with the past. I am receptive to what comes next. Give me the green light to settle into my new way of being with this version of my pain. I will not oppose or fight against what comes my way, but commit to reverence of my innate ability to heal. Help me resolve and diffuse my reactions to what still haunts me. Keep me honest about what I have worked through and what continues to require love and attention. Remind me that resolution does not mean I will not feel my scars tingling with the memory of what happened. Magnify my ability to legitimize what hurt me. Tune me into the truth that suffering doesn't go away completely for me or anyone else. Bring peace to my jagged edges with each admission of what is real for me and for all. Teach me to respect my right to feel without blaming others. Help me stand up for my feelings so they do not become an avalanche again. I consent to honor myself with frequent tributes, awareness, clarity, and check-ins. Help me create the space that I need in order to be with all aspects of myself. Remind me not to stash pain away or hide it in shame. Help me wear my medals openly and collaborate with the persistent effects of suffering. Help me to reshape my being according to who I am in my heart and always have been. Help me opt for authenticity and integrity over convenience and the power of old fears. Honoring acceptance. And so I chose that passage tonight because so much of our internal anxiety and internal suffering can come from that feeling of having lack of control over our lives, right? So as humans, we work hard to accomplish things, to do the things, to, achieve goals. And sometimes things happen that are just out of our control, or things don't happen that are out of our control. And it can be hard to accept, right? Sometimes we're like fighting against the current with things that can be hard to accept, or things that don't go the way that we want them to go. And when we're in sort of that battle, if you will, with acceptance, that's what can create the suffering. That's what can create the anxiety. That's what can create the angst. And so, how do we learn to invite acceptance into our lives? How do we learn to say, okay, this thing happened, or this thing is happening, and it's bigger than me, and I can't change it, and I can't control it. It is what it is, right? And so this practice, when we sit in meditation, especially for those of us who are newer to meditation, it can feel like, what is sitting here for, 20 minutes just being with my breath? How can that serve me? It's the consistency of the practice. And it doesn't have to be 20 minutes every day. It can be 5 minutes, 2 minutes, but the consistency of the practice is what builds inside of us, so that when life starts to present us with these big moments, we have this place that we can go to inside of ourselves and say, okay, let me just breathe. Let me fall into that place of acceptance. This doesn't feel good. This is not what I want. But I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to try and flow with the current instead of fighting against it. I'm going to notice the anxiety that's building inside of me. I'm going to notice the fear, the worry. Believe me, all this yoga and meditation I teach, I am constantly working with acceptance. But it really does help to have a practice, to have a space where you can go to and just come back to center, because at the end of the day, this is what we can control. We can control taking that mindful moment, taking that space to breathe, to connect, to stay in the present. And so it helps to soften the rough edges of life, of the things that challenge us. It may not necessarily change the things, but it helps us change how we respond to things, so that our central nervous system is more calm, our mind is more calm, we're able to sleep, we're not holding on to things in our body, feeling tightness and pain, but instead just working and flowing with the current. Honoring acceptance. And so I leave that with you tonight, to maybe take a moment, if you have a few moments after this practice, maybe if you have time to sit with some tea and a journal later, and maybe contemplate, what is it in your life that might need a little bit more acceptance, that might need a little bit more ease, by way of acceptance? What current are you fighting against, and how can you soften that? How can you move into the flow of things? Knowing that acceptance doesn't mean you're giving up. It doesn't mean you're letting go. It just means I'm moving with the flow. I'm moving with the current. I'm being with what is. Take another beautiful 3 deep breaths in this space. Inhaling nice and deep. Exhaling out. Breathing in, filling the belly, the lungs, the chest. Exhaling, chest, lungs, and belly. Breathing in. And exhaling out. And one more thing I'd like to offer Again, in our human journeys, because this is something I constantly have to work through. One of the things that can be the hardest to accept are choices that we made in the past, and choices that might seem that they've sort of led to the moment that we're in now, the moment that we're working through, right? We can be so hard on ourselves. Why did I do that? Why did I make that choice? Why did I go left instead of right? Why? And we can beat ourselves up mercilessly, just beating ourselves up over choices that we made in the past. But if we remember that the choices we made at the time, we made with the information we had at the time, right? We made the choices we had with the information we had at the time. We made the best choice that we could make, knowing what we knew at the time. And sometimes the lesson has to come from going through that experience and having that hindsight and saying, okay, that's the choice I made then. I'm not going to make that choice again. I'm going to do something different. But sometimes we have to have the experience to get the lesson. But how can we gain that experience without beating ourselves up? So next time you find yourself doing that, next time you find yourself being hard on yourself for a choice that you made in the past or something that happened in the past, have ease with yourself and say, I did the best I could with the information that I had, and I'm doing the best I can now with what I have on my plate now. We can begin to work our way back into awareness, maybe gently wiggling your fingers and your toes. It might feel good to circle around your wrists and your ankles. You might gently turn your head from side to side or tilt your head up and down. And when you feel ready, very, very, very gently open your eyes. And if you want to just stay in the space, then honor that too. So I want to end this practice with a saying that I share at the end of every class, every session, every offering. May we all be happy. May we all be free. May we all be peaceful, easeful, useful, and joyful. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Thank you so much for joining tonight, and namaste. So thank you so much. Of course, my camera decides to go out of focus right in this moment. So let me stop and then come right back on. Let's see if that works. Good. Okay. So thank you so much for making this time for yourself, for sharing this space with me. So we do this meditation every Monday, every other Monday, but you can stay connected with me again through my website, through my Instagram, through my newsletter. Everything can be found on my website. You can subscribe to my newsletter through my website. I am hosting 2 yoga classes this week. So on Wednesday evening, I'm leading a restorative yoga session, which is like this. It's like meditation, but in yoga poses, but it's not a very intense practice at all. It's super gentle. We use pillows and blankets and all kinds of props to hold us up in postures. We maybe do 3 or 4 postures at the most, where we're holding them for like 5 to 7 minutes at a time. Very gentle practice that helps to facilitate deep rest, deep relaxation, even down to the cellular level. So that's on Wednesday night at 7. And then on Saturday morning from 10 to 11, I'm leading my signature Find Your Free Flow, which is a little bit more of a moderate active flow, not super intense, but a little bit challenging. But it is a practice that's designed to just help you find authenticity, to tap into yourself, to tap into your inner power. Because yoga is a practice that really can remind us of how powerful we are. We see ourselves moving into these shapes or holding these shapes for, a certain amount of time. It can really remind you of the inner strength that you have. So that's on Wednesday and Saturday. Those sessions will also be recorded. So if you're unable to attend the live event, the replay will be available. And I think that's all I have for announcements for now. If you do like these t-shirts or this t-shirt, I do have them available on my website, a new t-shirt shop I just opened up on the Rachel Voss Yoga website. So if you want to keep that message of being peaceful and easeful with you, check out the t-shirt shop on rachelvossyoga.com. Otherwise, do take great care of yourselves. Have ease with yourself, have grace with yourself. Remember, you are doing the very best you can. And I always like to say, I love you. I'm here for you. You can always reach out to me if you have any questions about yoga, meditation, or anything in between. So, with that, I'm just going to check into the chat room. And again, if you signed up for this tonight, I will send you this recording to the email that you registered with. So just be on the lookout for that. Should be there by this evening or tomorrow at latest. Yay. Thank you everyone for joining. Good. And so if anybody is new to just like what namaste means, I just want to make sure I explain that. Namaste basically means the good in me honors the good in you, the light in me honors the light in you. You know, all that is well with me honors all of that is well with you. So it's just a beautiful way of just saying like the beautiful in me, the best in me sees and honors the best in you, you know. So that's what namaste means in case anybody's like, what does that mean? Or people just say it without knowing what it means. So all right, beautifuls. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I'll stay on for just another moment to see if anybody has anything else to share. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope that you sleep well, you have a peaceful evening, a peaceful week. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.